listening to America First Radio.
And we're gonna win, win, win. And we're gonna make America great again.
Here is your host, Paul Adams.
I would like to dedicate this podcast to Chris Stevens, Tyrone Woods, Glenn Doherty, and Sean Smith. I think they would like that. Okay, there's so much to cover here. As we speak, there's more information flowing. All the time we get some new stories. This is the ultimate Hillary Smackdown on steroids, folks. Okay, this is where I unleash the mother of all broadsides. It's been building up, and now, as my last pitch to those who may be borderline, who are still thinking about voting for Hillary, I'm going to pull all the stops. But in her defense, I want to point out that her childhood was, shall we say, turbulent. Her father never praised her or acknowledged any of her abilities. Even when she got straight A's one year at school, her dad's response was, well, I guess the school is too easy for you. And from what I've learned from watching documentaries, her family projected a wholesome image when in private they knew nothing could be further from the truth. So this motif, nothing further from the truth, has kind of stuck with Hillary. Look, we are all subjected to more or less similar stimuli. How we decide to respond to them is up to each one of us, okay? I think this is what any intelligent person would conclude, but blaming or bringing doesn't hold water in a court of law. Now, speaking of intelligence, all intelligence briefings have ended for Hillary. Maybe she'll get them from the Chinese now. And there's more on that in a minute here. But finally, we have something that links Trump to Russia. Russian caviar is being served in Trump's hotels. Now, in other breaking news, and I got to thank Alex Jones again for putting this out, there's a soft coup on toxic Hillary Clinton that's being waged. And I want you to listen to Alex Jones as the story broke yesterday, and also to Steve Pacinic. This is a historic, epic, seismic revelation. We got to thank Steve. Steve was Deputy Assistant Secretary of State under Henry Kissinger, Cyrus Vance, and James Baker. Okay, here's the audio from yesterday.
Former spy chief, and he says the soft coup's happened. I had Rob Dew already before I saw this minutes ago coming over to my house to shoot a video saying soft coup now against Hillary taking place because Obama is dumping her on Twitter, Facebook, so is Michelle. They've canceled all the events with her, so is Joe Biden. All the Democrats are now standing against her, turning against her. That she's known as a communist Chinese agent. She's not a Russian, so she double dealt with them. This is so historic. More coming at Infowars.com. I'm going to send this report in, have it clipped on to the Steve Pacinic video to put on Facebook and Twitter for maximum push. And again, Steve is on tomorrow, I believe. Again, I'm right down the road here. I'm going to call, make sure that's happening. I just called him a minute ago. He didn't answer. Alex Jones here with the Battle for the Republic. This is real. It's happening. Infowars.com.
On November 1, 2016, Hillary and Bill Clinton and their entourage of assistants effected a civilian coup. In contrast to the usual concept of a coup where the military is involved and takes over the White House and communication centers, very much like the scenarios you see in a movie, this coup was done silently and very effectively through two methods, corruption and co-optation. The Clintons have been involved in co-opting our White House, our judiciary, our CIA, our Federal Bureau of Investigation, our Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, and our Director of the FBI, James Comey, for some time now. What they've done is to make sure that they were part and parcel of a group of people who were interrelated through political cronyism. However, in order to stop this coup, we in the intelligence community and others involved have informally gotten together, and with their permission, I am beginning to announce that we've initiated a counter-coup through Julian Assange and WikiLeaks. What has happened in effect when Comey had to open up the case of Hillary Clinton and discuss the emails that were involved with the Anthony Weiner case, it was not the case itself that was as important as the fact that this was the entree for many of us in the counter-coup to say to the administration, we have your number. Not only do we have your number, we're going to stop you from making Hillary the President of the United States. And at the same time, we will convict and indict the President of the United States, Loretta Lynch, and many others who were involved in the cover-up of the massive corruption that occurred under the Clinton Foundation. Now, in both cases, their coup was silent, and our counter-coup was silent, and it was all transgressed or occurred on the internet. And this is probably the first time in the history of any country where a coup was initiated through the internet and a counter-coup was initiated through the internet. I am just a small part of something far bigger than myself. It was the brave men and women who were in the FBI, the CIA, the Director of Intelligence, the military intelligence, and men and women in 15 other intelligence organizations who were sick and tired of seeing this corruption in the White House, in the Justice Department, and in the intelligence system. And we decided that there was something we had to do in order to save the Republic. So we initiated a counter-coup through Julian Assange, who's been very brave and really quite formidable in his ability to come forth and provide all the necessary emails that we gave to him in order to undermine Hillary and Bill Clinton. Again, America, we're going through a major, major transition and, quite frankly, a second American Revolution. We do not have guns. We do not have weapons. We do not intend to kill anybody. We do not intend to harm anybody. But we, the American public, and those of us who serve as veterans and in the intelligence service like myself, will stop the Clintons from assuming power that they don't deserve. At the same time, we will make certain that Obama leaves without any trail of a pardon or any other act of treason. In effect, we want a peaceful transition in this great American Republic. I bring you this news, and I want you to understand what has happened. A moment of history is occurring right now in front of us, and I'm proud to explain it to you.
I don't know how you can possibly top that. I should just end it right here, okay? But I prepared my podcast before this development broke, and I have to go through with it. We are not in the clear yet, folks. I'm getting mixed signals here because Benjamin Fulford also calls for pitchforks and torches in the streets, and he corroborates Steve's alert in his Monday report of October 31st. He says, it has been confirmed by many sources that Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Joseph Dunford, sent to every member of the U.S. military a letter saying, quote, every service member swears to support and defend the Constitution of the United States and to bear true faith and allegiance to the same. Amongst other things, Dunford wrote, our deliberate and disciplined commitment to upholding the principle of civilian control of the military. Now, West Coast high-tech oligarchs like Bill Gates, the owners of Apple Computer, and Larry Ellison of Oracle Computer, people who got rich by actually creating things that make our lives better and not through fraud, have told the White Dragon Society that they will support the move to take down the Khazarian Mafia, according to Benjamin Fulford. He continues to say that Hillary Clinton has sent $1.8 billion to Qatar and plans to flee there soon, CIA sources say. However, neither she nor any other members of her crime family will be allowed to escape. And this is what Pentagon sources have to say about the situation. Quote, the Hillary silent coup has been defeated by a military counter-coup backed by overwhelming lethal force and NSA spying. NSA sources confirm that Hillary Clinton is guilty of mass murder in Haiti, Libya, Syria, Fukushima, etc., And yes, folks, they did use a device to detonate below the ocean floor to create the earthquake. So she and her fellow gangsters must be stopped, according to NSA sources. All we can say at this point is that the situation is very fluid. Now, there's no mention of George Soros, and I really would like to know what they're going to do about this guy. Are we going to go after the snake's head? So until we see Hillary drop out or in handcuffs, I'm not going to stop fighting. Okay, so here we go with a podcast. Here's an interesting headline from the Daily Caller. Clinton campaign chairman Podesta boasted that Justice Department official who is now in charge of keeping Congress informed of email probe kept me, John Podesta, out of jail. Interesting. Doug Schoen bails on Hillary. He said he is a Democrat, has worked for Bill Clinton, but he cannot vote for Hillary. CNN is bailing on Brazil, Donna Brazil. Obama is backing Comey. He's still campaigning for Hillary, sort of. You know, he's offering tacos now at rallies for people to vote for Hillary. The New York Times is backing Trump on Russia. The FBI clears Trump on any connections to Russia. Another development, Roger Stone has warned that we should be very alert. Georgia, Alaska, Utah, and Mississippi are the only 4 states that are using 100% GEMS voting machines, which can be easily rigged with fractional votes. So we also got that story from Alex Jones on fractional voting. You can go to a website called blackboxvoting.org. It tells you all about it. Okay, so that's great. So now we know what the problem is. That the precinct servers are switched secretly. The candidates are pre-allotted percentages of the vote in the software. Everybody's talking about the problem, but not the solution. Look, if some putz can hack into the precincts in Alaska and retabulate the votes, that is obviously a failed system. It needs to be replaced. I bet you that same putz could not hack into an NSA server, okay? So something has to be done here. The obvious solution is where you can vote directly from your home using your computer. Go directly to your online U.S. citizen triple secured account and vote, and that vote goes directly to an NSA central mainframe that is monitored and calibrated by representatives of we the people. It's hacker-proof, immovable, guarded, inspected, installed deep into the mountains of Colorado or Utah where no nuclear blast can reach it. Okay, I mean, do you get the picture? That's the solution. Let's stop the whining and the wringing of hands and feeling hopeless and nauseated. That time is over. We need to focus on solutions. There's enough ingenuity out there to fix the problem. Just fix the damn problem. Fix it. We have some of the best brains in the world on Silicon Valley. You know, where's the Oracle and Apple people to fix this? We got to stop complaining, pretending there's no solution. If people have been studying this problem for 30 years, they should be able to find a solution by now. If not, you are part of the problem. Because all you're doing is you're demoralizing the people into thinking this can never be solved, and even if we vote for Trump, he can never win. That ever crossed your minds? I'm really pissed off that America, the beacon of freedom where the Statue of Liberty beckons to all nations to uphold freedom and liberty as she steps off the shackles of tyranny beneath her, that this nation has turned into such a quagmire of pathetic, mindless mainstream media automatons, where all we do is whine about the problem. We never fix it. Can you imagine getting Jeb Bush to fix this? Look, the only guy equipped to fix it is Donald Trump. His solutions will work. But we need to fix this voting machine problem, like yesterday. Okay, another headlines. Trey Gowdy, quote, "If you don't vote for our party's nominee, you are voting for a serial criminal. Can I get any clearer?" End of quote. I want to prepare you, folks. I want to prepare you for what's coming. Do you have a barf bag? You may need one, okay? Because I myself, I get so sick to my stomach talking about Hillary Clinton and the whole corrupt system, the voter fraud, the DNC corruption, the globalist monsters like Soros, the whole demonic parasitical system that rely on the middle class for their wealth, for the taxes to pay for their extravagant lifestyles, and the wars, those endless wars on terror, where we fund both sides. I am so sick of the whole kabuki theater. So are you ready for your barf bag? Because now we learn that the Department of Justice wants to help the FBI sort through the 650,000 emails. You know, sort of give a helping hand. We need Loretta's help like we need a hole in the head. You know, she pleads the fifth, I don't know how many times, and now she wants to help? Give me a break. It almost feels like, I don't know about you, but the vibe that I'm getting, and I'm a pretty peaceful guy, okay? I'm a very serene, peaceful, I can think with both my left brain and right brain, play chess a lot. I do not want to see violence. But I'm getting the feel, I'm getting the sense that maybe it's time for the people to take matters into their own hands. Because this is really getting out of control. Now, we do need somebody to call the marching orders, and I'm not going to be the guy, okay, to do that. Or maybe it'll be spontaneous. We need people at the tip of the spear who are willing to put it all on the line and give marching orders. Not just from somewhere inside a studio, but by example, actually going out there. Look, I'm a white-collar professional. I wouldn't hurt a mouse. I actually nursed a pigeon with a lame foot. When I think about parasites at the top, if someone like me who doesn't drink or do drugs or cuss is ready to take on these parasites, how do you think some of those wrestler-type patriots down in Texas or Alabama, how do you think some of these black folks who had it up to their eyeballs with the Democrats must feel? Do you guys understand what you're setting us up for here? And don't fall for my soft side, okay? There's a video of me doing dumbbell flies on a flat bench with 100-pound dumbbells. That's at age 61 for 5 repetitions. You can see it on YouTube. My handle, it's 444age. You can also see me hand building my AR-15. I think that link is a private link. So let's say when it comes to achieving things, I may have a compulsive obsessive streak. I like to focus sometimes to the point of overkill, excuse the pun, but I do like to get things done. I like solutions. Soros, you need to step out of this equation. You need to pack your bags, go wherever you have to go, just leave America alone because the people are about to snap. Soros, you are the Republic's enemy number one. And you folks out there, you know, whoever you are, you know, talking to the masses every day, if you cannot utter these words that Soros is the Republic's enemy number one, just like if you can't say radical Muslims, then you are part of the problema. Okay, back to Loretta Lynch. Look, Loretta is getting her marching orders from the Clintons because she doesn't want to end up in an Armani body bag. The whole thing stinks. Word from Larry Nichols is that the emails have already been scrubbed, all 650,000 of them. That's why Comey and Hillary and Obama want them out, and that's why Hillary wants them out. That's why everybody wants them out, because they've already been scrubbed. There's nothing there. And when you look at all the other emails they went through, okay, for how many months did they go through them? 60,000 emails? That could have indicted anyone 10 times over. If they can't get her in jail with those emails, what can they possibly do with 650,000 new emails? Now, I wanted to get, a rational, objective, dispassionate, aspirated, intellectual opinion. So I went to Time magazine for some inspiration. And this is an article by Robin Lakoff, who is a professor of linguistics at the University of California, Berkeley, and the author of Language and Woman's Place. Here's what she says, quote, "It's not about emails. It's about public communication by a woman. I am mad. I am mad because I am scared. And if you are a woman, you should be too. Emailgate is a bitch hunt, but the target is not Hillary Clinton. It's us. The people are demanding Clinton act like moral exemplars, thundering from the pulpit like Jonathan Edwards or Colton Mather, but Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, Chris Christie, Newt Gingrich, Rush Limbaugh, and their many conservative friends are not remotely Clinton's moral superiors. They are simply bullies using gender discrimination to give a veneer of plausibility to their accusations. FBI Chief James Comey has shown himself to be another bully of the same kind. He has repeatedly talked down to Clinton, admonishing her as a bad parent would a 5-year-old. He has accused her of poor judgment and called her use of a private email server extremely careless. If Comey is a Boy Scout, here's one old lady who will never let him help her across the street. If the candidate was male, there would be no scolding and no scandal." End of quote. She goes on and on. Robin, I don't know on which planet you have been residing for the last 20 years, but have you been listening to the smear campaigns thrown at Donald Trump? Have you heard of Bill Clinton getting impeached? Have you heard of Bill surrendering his law license? Have you heard of Gary Hart, what happened to him, or John Edwards, how they were forced to drop out? Have you heard of General Petraeus? Folks, if this is the best that the female universe can offer to defend Hillary Clinton, a Robin Lakoff, we are in deep, deep shit, folks. The swamp is much, much deeper than we could have ever imagined. We are living in an inverted reality where lies are truth and the truth is fiction. We are in a thick, multi-layered Luciferian Alinsky matrix where feminists have given the word dense new meaning. Let's get one thing clear. This election is not. It is not about left or right, Democrat or Republican, liberal versus conservative, or a man versus a woman. It's about globalists who want to prop up another puppet for the final takedown of America, a puppet which the banks fund, which Soros funds, which the Rothschilds most certainly influence, which the Vatican has a vested interest in. Why else would the Pope diss Trump for wanting to build a wall when the Pope himself is protected by an enormous, ginormous wall? This is about a puppet which the military-industrial complex and the neocon dogs of war have a stake in. A puppet which the Zionists, who depend on boogeyman and a destabilized Middle East, rely on. A puppet that the Chinese are betting on so that we can spark a world war and let China emerge as the preeminent superpower. This is about a puppet that Saudi Arabia has funded to ensure future pay to play. It's about choosing between this Luciferian, blue-eyed, blonde, benign-looking, craven, brazen grandma by the name of Hillary Rodham Clinton and an imperfect human being but an American patriot by the name of Donald J. Trump, whose only special interest is the American people. How much smoke is needed before the masses realize there is an inferno raging out there? Moving on. Huma Abedin, conveniently married in a arranged marriage to a Jew, Anthony Weiner. Could she possibly have been a plant by the Saudi Arabians? Just is it in the realm of possibility? I think so, and this is what is being revealed now as we speak. There's another revelation coming out about that. Anyway, her beloved husband, Anthony Weiner, is surrendering his laptop to the FBI, and as we speak, the hackers are dumping more bombshells, and it's getting to be more like a carpet bombing campaign here. We have, Guccifer 2, we have the WikiLeaks, now we have Weiner leaks. But no matter how we try to spell it out, okay, some people are still so engrossed with the mystique of this Teflon magical creature called Hillary, the super feminist, the apogee of the quintessential female. And most of these people are women. Hillary could have been blending babies into smoothies for her breakfast every morning, and Robin would still be voting for Hillary. What argument would I have to produce to you for you to finally conclude, I heard enough. Hillary is not for me. I was wrong. I wished for a woman in the White House, but this is far beyond the pale. I cannot in all good conscience vote for Hillary. I just can't. What would it take? Let me run down the list of disqualifiers one by one, and you tell me where to stop, okay? At what point would you say, stop right here? She's not fit to be President of the United States. So let me begin. Hillary was caught in a meeting with the DNC and her super PAC. That is illegal. That should disqualify her. But, I know. Give her some slack. She's a woman. She must, eventually break the glass ceiling. So what's one meeting with a super PAC? Hillary used a private server without anyone's authorization from the State Department or anybody in the White House. So that is espionage. And you're probably going to tell me, give her some slack. Communicating with people like Sid Blumenthal and Huma Abedin on government-related issues, and especially depending on Sid Blumenthal for advice, is also espionage because Sid Blumenthal was not given clearances. No security clearances. I know what you're going to say. She's a woman, give her some slack. What about the directives to keep the masses in the dark and maintain a compliant, malleable, narked electorate? Sounds to me like psychological subversion. But, I see. That, that is part of the Alinsky protocols tactics, so she can rise to the top. Oh, I get it. That's her code of ethics. Okay, that's her religions. And the ends, justify the means. And who are we to argue with those Luciferian religious tenets, right? I mean, who are we? This is a democracy. She's got the First Amendment to help her out. Along those lines, then, lying to the FBI would have put anyone else in jail. It would have been perjury, but hey, this is a super intellect we're dealing with here. This is a heroine. This is a goddess to be worshipped. She's the ultimate ferocious Amazon who will unleash a new age of payback on men. The dominatrix on steroids. You know, sticks and stones may break her bones, but whips and chains excite her. You know, that kind of woman. You know, the whore of Babylon, and I'm taking poetic license here. So what about destroying 33,000 emails? Well, it's not that bad, right? There are women who destroy men's lives. She could have done a lot worse, so I get it. What about the new FBI allegations that the emails show that at the center of a large pedophile ring in Washington that targets little girls is Hillary? But, you know, I digress. These haven't been made public yet. It's a wiener leak, and until it comes out in the mainstream media, it's just not newsworthy, okay? I get it. What about destroying cell phones and Blackberries to cover her tracks? Not a huge deal. Compared to what? Compared to stuffing victims in body bags? Compared to silencing women her husband raped? What's a cell phone? Give her some slack. Nasty women get away with shit like this, right? Except for Martha Stewart. She went to jail for just telling a single lie to the FBI. What can I say? What about accepting money from Saudi Arabia and the King of Qatar in a pay-to-play scheme, you know? Hey, look, I get it. A die-hard feminist like her does that all the time. What's a little pay-to-play? And besides, you know, everybody does it. Look at some marriages. They're total pay-to-play schemes. And I love this 2004 audio clip of Elizabeth Warren here explaining the symbiotic relationship between Hillary Clinton and Wall Street. You have to listen to this.
The last bill that came before President Clinton was that bankruptcy bill that was passed by the House and the Senate in 2000, and he vetoed it. And in her autobiography, Mrs. Clinton took credit for that veto, and she rightly should. She turned around a whole administration on the subject of bankruptcy.
And then?
One of the first bills that came up after she was Senator Clinton was the bankruptcy bill. This is a bill that's like a vampire. It will not die, right? There's a lot of money behind it. And
her husband had vetoed.
Her husband had vetoed it very much at her urging.
And?
She voted in favor of it.
Why?
As Senator Clinton, the pressures are very different. It's a well-financed industry. A lot of people don't realize that the industry that gave the most money to Washington over the past few years was not the oil industry, was not pharmaceuticals. It was consumer credit products. Those are the people, the credit card companies have been giving money, and they have influence.
And Mrs. Clinton was one of them, as senator. Yeah.
She has taken money from the groups, and more to the point, she worries about them as a constituency.
So what does this mean, though, to these people, these millions of people out there whom the politicians cavort in front of as favoring the middle class and then are beholden to the powerful interests that undermine the middle class? What does it say about politics today?
This is the scary part about democracy today. We're talking again about the impact of money. The credit industry on this bankruptcy bill has spent tens of millions of dollars lobbying, and as their profits grow, they just throw more into lobbying for how they can get laws that will make it easier and easier and easier to drain money out of the pockets of middle-class families.
Wasn't that great? Moving on. What about telling the American public that a video was responsible for the Benghazi attacks? That happened so long ago, Paul. What difference at this point does it make? She won the primary. That's all in the past. Come on. All right. What about stealing the nomination from Bernie Sanders and forcing him to concede? Threaten him to concede, as some emails indicate. What would you classify that under? I know. She is the penultimate daring woman. Daring to go where no woman has ever gone before. Rules? What rules? Look, she wrote her thesis on rules for radicals, Paul. Don't you get it? A book that Alinsky dedicated to the ultimate radical, Lucifer. There are no rules that apply to these people. She does whatever the hell she wants. She can get away with it. Hey, you know what? The ends justify the means. This is the new in. Get with it. Come on. Give her a break, for Pete's sake. So, what about ignoring the pleas for backup by Christopher Stevens over 600 times? Let him hang there? Him and 3 others getting tortured and killed? Well, it's pretty bad, but, it's relative. Relative. Compared to what? Look at how women kill their unborn children. Same deal, different circumstances, right? Now, here's an interesting one. A sales sheet has surfaced on the internet of Hillary selling ambassadorships for $1 million to $2 million a pop. Now that, a feminist would tell you, that is being creative. Hillary is just out of the box. She's out there. Come on. Give her a break here. Now, the Clintons were so broke when they left the White House that they took with them priceless George Washington china, the dinnerware. We are talking like stealing national treasures. And they had to return all that and pay a fine, a $50,000 fine. Oh, come on, Paul. A lot of nasty women do what needs to be done. They do that when they go visit somebody, when they're having dinner. They steal when the owners are not looking, so I completely understand. What about paying people to get violent in Trump's rallies? I guess that's to be expected in an election, right? Besides the Democrats, well, there's nothing beneath them. Anything goes. What about aiming and funding ISIS? Now that's an interesting one because maybe we should look into this one further, but let's look into it after she's elected president. Let's not go too far ahead of ourselves. We'll file it under the subheading Middle East Public Relations. Now we are discovering that Obama communicated with Hillary's private server, which means, well, it just means he also likes yoga, okay? Come on. Don't be so stupid, Paul. Now, I have a problem with Hillary selling 20% of our uranium reserves to Russia through her Clinton Foundation. That could be a problem because, uranium is kind of scarce. The Clinton Foundation got $2.35 million for its role in brokering the deal. Just saying. Paul, look, the Clintons have to pay their bills. They have people on payroll. They have mouths to feed. All right? Snap out of it. Now, the one that is a little bit worrisome is where she said that she wants the Iranians to know that if she's elected president, she will attack Iran.
And I want the Iranians to know that if I'm the president, we will attack Iran.
Okay, I got it. She is now growing a pair, right? She's pandering to the military complex. Point taken, I get it. She wants to let him know she can do the job. She can handle it. What about Hillary Clinton receiving advanced debate questions? Shouldn't that be an automatic disqualifier? Look, I get it. It's relative. It depends on the definition of the word debate. And this is a case of a woman trying to help another woman. Because there's a special kind of hell for a woman who doesn't help another woman, according to Madeleine Albright. All right, I get it. I'm sorry I even mentioned it. I take it back. So how did government emails end up in a pervert's computer? Did his wife Huma do it as life insurance? Because, there is a file now that they found in his laptop called life insurance. It kind of leads me to believe that maybe Huma was afraid of her life. So she kept some of these emails in reserve to maybe Blackmail Hillary? Paul, listen. This is a girl thing, right? Bitches do that all the time when they're in a complicated relationship and are married to perverts. So step out of it. Give her a break. Now, should we get into Hillary's early years, like the time she defended this rapist who raped a 12-year-old girl, and then she laughed about how she got this guy off knowing he was guilty? Look, Paul. That was her job as a defense attorney. Give her some slack. And besides, she also laughed when Gaddafi was killed. So, what difference does it make? She has a sense of humor. Okay, so what about the time she was fired at age 27 from the Watergate Commission? Her boss was a leading Democrat, Jerry Zeifman. She was fired for numerous counts of unethical conduct. Paul, again, you got to give this woman some breathing room. Give her some slack. Women in power do unethical things sometimes, okay? Get with it. Where have you been? Have you been living under a rock? And what about her defending Black Panthers who killed white cops? That was all in the past. I know. That was all in the past. I get it. Give her a break. Don't make it so difficult for her. For Pete's sake. Somebody had to defend these guys. Duh. Look, that's all I've got here for you folks. I know, it's just not enough. But hey, you know what? I tried. And by the way, the latest WikiLeaks now show that the Clinton Foundation systematically underpaid women in relation to men. Is that relevant? I mean, okay, so there's a bit of an Archie Bunker in the Clintons. No one's perfect. I get it. But if I was to vote for Hillary, okay, who takes money from Saudi Arabia where they mutilate women's genitals by castrating their clitoris and they throw gay people over rooftops, I would feel kind of bad inside. I don't know about you. You see, Robin, whatever the hell your name is, if you vote with your gonads and your stomach, and a person's character is not a consideration, you are no better than an insect, because that's all insects care about, food and reproduction. You see, character has nothing to do with gender. Let's say, for argument's sake, that we are not talking about Hillary, but about me running for president. I know it's hard to imagine, but, roll with it, okay? And to sweeten the pot, let's say I had a net worth of $250 million, and I got this wealth by manufacturing electronic parts, let's say in the United States. Okay, let's keep it simple. Which, by the way, $250 million is the same net worth that Hillary has. Only she didn't make or sell any products. But, who cares, right? For argument's sake, let's say I had the exact same net worth and the exact same resume as Hillary. It's more like a rap sheet. Anyway, called her resume. Would you vote for me? All things being equal, would you vote for me? If I had done all the things that Hillary did, if I was a former Secretary of State, blah, 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 would you vote for me? No? Why not, Robin? I mean, I sense some hesitation here. What if I had a sex change? Would you vote for me? You are staring at your feet. Come on, level with me. Why would you not vote for me? And I kind of think I know. I think I know why. Okay, because under, there's what we call the U.S. Penal Code. Because under the U.S. Penal Code, I would be prosecuted and found guilty of bribery, conspiracy, perjury, fraud and swindles, fraud by wire, attempt and conspiracy to commit fraud, obstruction of justice, destruction, alteration, or falsification of records in federal investigation, false statements, disclosure of confidential information, unauthorized removal and retention of classified documents or material, concealment, removal, or mutilation of government records, attempt to evade or defeat a tax, attempts to interfere with administration of internal revenue laws. That's what I would be facing. And I would, you know what? I would not fault you. I would not fault you if you didn't vote for me. Because I would be toxic, unelectable, damaged goods, a has-been, a felon, a crook, a lawless, rogue, radical, rebel, the apotheosis of evil, the embodiment of malfeasance, and the antithesis of everything that this nation stands for. I would not fault you at all if you didn't vote for me. Look, folks, for those of you who are still listening and who are still hell-bent on voting for Hillary, if you want to vote for Hillary, don't be surprised if one day she sends your sons and daughters to fight in new wars that will enrich her Clinton Foundation. Don't bitch if your health premiums double and triple and overtake your mortgage payments. Don't complain if you see more plant closures and jobs going to China. Don't complain if one day you hear that Hillary is being blackmailed by China or Iran as they threaten to release some dirt on her or expose our national top secrets, which they hacked into. I'm not the only one saying this, by the way, okay? There are some women out there who agree with me, as, for example, former U.S. intelligence asset Susan Lindauer. Listen to her.
She's a former U.S. intelligence asset, and she worked as a backdoor channel on anti-terrorism from 1993 to 2003. Her team warned about a major terrorist attack involving airplane hijackings and a strike on the World Trade Center, but they were ignored. And that would eventually have serious consequences for her personally. She's the author of the brilliant Extreme Prejudice, The Terrifying Story of the Patriot Act, and the cover-ups of 9/11 and Iraq. It's great to welcome back to the program Susan Lindauer. Susan.
If Hillary's elected, there will be World War III. It will happen. And so I feel that that Trump's populism, he's going to focus more on the United States. And I think that's better for everybody. And the thing about Hillary Clinton is she'll say anything to anybody that she has to make them leave her alone. So so you have to look at her history and her actions. She's even said that she would welcome a false flag so that she could go to in the United States so that she could go to war with Iran. And she said, "Bring it on." She used those words. Bring it on. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Come on. Let's get it on with it.
And I want to thank Richie Allen. She was on his show.
And then, frankly, there are those who are saying the best thing that could happen to us is be attacked by somebody. Just bring it on, because that would unify us. It would legitimize the regime. We're not going to give anything up. And in fact, we're going to provoke an attack, because then we will be in power for as long as anyone can imagine.
I also want to thank Global Research TV for this little clip.
As Diana Johnstone, author of Queen of Chaos, The Misadventures of Hillary Clinton, points out, Hillary is best understood not as a person, but as the instrument for the think tanks, Wall Street financiers, and other connected insiders who want to embroil the United States in more illegal wars and plunder the country and its people even further.
I mean, Hillary to me is not even an interesting person. She is simply a shallow, ambitious woman who has decided to make herself the instrument of the Washington think tank persuasion, and is using that to pose as a great expert on world affairs, to be elected as president. She simply is the embodiment of all that is terrible in American foreign policy that has developed over the past decades.
Do you have any idea, folks, how easy it would be to frame Iran and accuse them of not adhering to the terms of this nuclear agreement they signed? So if you vote for Hillary, don't complain if you see America turn into a third world banana republic as the corruption goes off the charts. Don't complain when your towns are turned into Muslim ghettos. Don't complain when ISIS terror cells are activated. Don't complain when your children can't compete because Common Core continues to dumb them down. Just don't bitch if your inner cities continue to rot, because, as you should well know, Democrats like to stay in power when despair and poverty makes government dependence a systemic and embedded feature. You know, I love a woman with smarts. I love a woman who can multitask, because I can't. I admit it, I can't. I love a woman who is charitable and sensitive to others' feelings, to animals, children, to the weak, the dispossessed, the helpless. I so admire that. God left his best creation to last. He left the most complicated task till the very end. And I would love to see a Thatcher or a Benazir Bhutto or a Golda Meir step into the White House someday, but not Hillary. Now, going back to the 650,000 emails, this may be a distraction. They will take, I don't know how many years to go through them. How long did it take to go through the last batch? And we only had, 60,000, 100,000? Now, the globalists will use this as an opportunity. They always take the opponent's momentum to further their agenda, okay? They let no crisis go to waste. Here's how I think it's going to go down, because, look, the Black Lives Matter violence and the police shootings just don't seem to be cutting it. I think they will steal the election, and then with all that pent-up outrage in the pressure cooker, they will create civil unrest. They will roll out martial law and suspend Congress. They will throw Obama out. He'll be removed, and maybe a United Nations committee will take over. Here's one more item that I found, and it needs to be vetted out. I've sent it to the Trump camp, to Alex Jones, for vetting, and I'm waiting for some kind of verdict on the information. Maybe you people out there can vet it yourself. This story broke on October 27th on eutimesnews.net. It says a stunning foreign intelligence service report circulating in the Kremlin reveals that the Security Council authorized sending an emergency communique to the CIA, requesting an immediate explanation as to why the Clinton Foundation this past week purchased over $137 million worth of illegal arms and ammunition destined for the United States with a mid-November delivery date. And please don't check this story on Snopes, because, they're a leftist tool, folks, okay? Just to let you know. So, another article by the Daily Caller. Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton gave her word that the Clinton Foundation will cease accepting foreign donations if she's elected president. That, of course, is her public position. But a leaked memo reveals that Hillary's private preference is for the foundation to continue accepting money from foreign governments. I'm not even going into the admitted oversampling in the rigged polls, the advanced questions by Brazil at the debates or the town halls. the stolen DNC nomination, the coordination between the Clinton campaign and the DNC to incite violence at Trump rallies. I don't even want to talk about all that. I don't even want to talk about the leak where Podesta gives the go-ahead to Cheryl Mills to destroy 33,000 emails, or where he says, I'm definitely for making an example of a suspected leaker, whether or not we have any real basis for it. You know, I'm going to let Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani deal with all that. You can bet they're on it like white on rice. Folks, I think Hillary will be thrown under the bus and set America aflame in a scorched earth policy. I really pray it doesn't come to that. I'm not fear-mongering, okay? Or I know some people think I'm crying wolf. I would rather cry wolf and put some fear into you than be a traitor if I didn't call it like I see it, and then we had all hell break loose. Then you would say to me, well, Paul, you knew all this all the time. Why didn't you warn us? Okay, so we're doing our best to verify everything. We're keeping all options open. We're looking at all the blind spots. That's what you got to do. And you may not be on target all the time, but at least you've taken every possible precaution to figure out what the hell is going on out there. So, folks, that was it. Again, I've dedicated this podcast to the fallen heroes in Benghazi. You need to vote for Trump to take America back from the globalists. If you do anything in your lifetime, this is it. This is the time to go out there and vote for Donald J. Trump. God bless America. God bless Mr. Trump.